All right, so can a foreigner own a gun in Costa Rica? Yes. Can a foreigner carry a gun in Costa Rica? Concealed? Yes. Let me go over a few of the requirements. I say a few, but there's actually quite a few. And first off, you need a permanent residency. Now, if you search on the internet, you might find some old info stating that you can put a gun in a corporation, own it as a tourist. It's not true anymore. It used to be the case. You could buy a corporation, put the gun in it, and keep it in your house, and you could legally have it there. Not anymore. You will require permanent residency. Number two, you're going to need something called a FIRMA DIGITAL. This is something you can pick up at Banco Nacional. It's just a card that interfaces you with the Costa Rican system called Control Pass, where you can update your gun documents and things like that. I can't remember, it's 40 or 50 bucks, but they give you a reader and they give you a card and you can log into the Costa Rican system. Now, if your Spanish isn't that good, most gun shops will do all of the uploading and work for you on that. I know that mine did. The other thing you're going to need is a psychological test. Yes, you're gonna have to take a psychological test. In my experience, it costs about 40-ish thousand colones, about $80, and knock it out, fill it out, meet with the psychologist, and you're good to go. The other thing you're going to need is a background check. This is about a 10-minute process. You go down to the local courthouse and it's just a local Costa Rican background check, and they print it out and you bring it into the gun shop with your other paperwork. The other thing you're gonna have to do is get your fingerprints done at the local police station. And you're going to have to take a shooting test and a written test. The shooting test, if you know how to shoot a pistol, you'll be just fine. It's not difficult. It's a little piece of paper. You got to get so many rounds on. It's very close. And the written test is in Spanish. Now, if you can't speak Spanish very well, most gun shops wanting to sell you a gun will help you out and give you materials to study so you can go in and ace the test in Spanish. And it's yeah, a bit of rote memorization, but you can do it. I did it 10 years ago when my Spanish was much worse. So you can pull it off. After that, when you purchase your gun in the shop, you're going to, before you can actually pick it back up, you're going to have to get your ID cards. So just for owning the gun, you're gonna get a card with the serial number and the gun type on it and your name. And for your portación de armas, or your right to carry, you're gonna get another ID which has your photo on it and says you're legally authorized to carry a gun. After you get those cards, and you get them at your local approved post office, and you pay another $20, you bring those into the gun shop, and then you can finally pick up your gun. It's a bit of a process. Count on it taking you 2 or 3 months. Just count on it. And if it takes a month and a half, well then, you win. Now, this gun here, I got a Glock 19X from a local gun shop. Make sure it's clear. There we go. And let me tell you this little guy here costs $1,400. So a Glock in the US will run you about half of that. And just count on that. Guns are expensive here, but you are able to purchase them. Now, with sporting rifles and military-esque style rifles, just count on paying 3 or even possibly 4 times more. They say you can't own AR-15s or military-style weapons here, but there are some. Go into any gun store in Costa Rica and you will find military-style weapons and AR-15 variants, things like that. They are legal. I don't know if they can be imported anymore, but they are. You can get them. For example, like a AR-15 style rifle will run you $3,000 to $4,000. It's pretty darn expensive compared to $500 to $1,000 in the US. A little wild. But anyway, you can get your license to carry and you can carry concealed. You see here. Got a little concealed holster here. Carry concealed in public. Obviously, concealed means you can't go flashing it around. But it's very achievable. And if you're willing to go through the pain in the ass to do it, you can carry a gun in Costa Rica as a foreigner. So, now, why in the world would I own a gun in Costa Rica? Well, to be short, I feel more comfortable having a gun. I've lived a life in the military and doing security work, and I've carried a gun or had a gun around me for the last 25 years. And psychologically, I just feel a lot better. Now, the other side of the situation is I live in a fairly secluded area. So while I love the police here, I'm not that confident that I can get a quick response for me and my family. And at the same time, being a foreigner here, and I think this goes for most foreigners here, a foreigner who makes the choice to come and live down here probably has a higher income level than your average Costa Rican resident in the area. So that consequently, more money makes you more of a target for home invasion. And here in Costa Rica, we have a fairly high homicide rate. Now, most of that is happening in the capital city in San Jose. Violent crime is very low on the Pacific Coast beach towns in the area that I live. And the Costa Rica homicide rate right now is around 17 per 100,000, whereas just for context, in the US, it's 5 to 6 homicides per 100,000 people. So I like having a gun for that possible situation, that last resort situation where I cannot de-escalate it and I have to utilize deadly force. I want to be able to win in that encounter. Simple as that.
Now remember, when things look bad and it looks like you're not gonna make it, then you gotta get mean. I mean plumb mad dog mean. Because if you lose your head and you give up, then you neither live nor win. That's just the way it is.
The rules apply worldwide when it comes to utilizing deadly force. And no matter what, even in a war zone or a military situation, you're going to have to answer and explain as to why you use deadly force. In Costa Rica, you're gonna have to talk to a judge. Why did I do this? And you're gonna have to have a good story as to what happened and why. So to just simplify it, wherever you are, the use of deadly force should revolve around 3 things. And that's the ability, the opportunity, and intent. So what do I mean by ability? So does somebody have the ability to do physical harm to you or your family? Do they have the strength? Do they have a weapon? Is it a long-range weapon? Is it a close-range weapon? Do they have the actual ability to do harm? Second, do they have an opportunity? Are they 100 meters outside your gate threatening you? Do they have a slingshot? Do they have a machete, but they're 200 meters away? Do they actually have an opportunity to utilize some sort of force against you? And number 3, are they showing an intent to do harm against you? So if you can follow those 3 things, and if you can line those 3 things up, then you're gonna be good to go. It's a very difficult conversation. It's actually probably a conversation for a couple hour long podcast. But anyway, I just want to go over that, and you just need to realize that don't have it in your head that, oh, I'm in my house, somebody came in so I can just cap them. Without getting into the law, might get away with it, might not. But I don't want to shoot somebody unnecessarily, and if I can get some person who's probably had a lot rougher life than me, if I can get him out of my house first, I'd rather do that. I'd also rather not have to go through the Costa Rican legal system, because if you shoot somebody, even in your house, and even if you're 100% justified, you're probably going to jail for at least a night, and you're still going to have to go and talk to the judge and go through a whole bunch of paperwork, and I would rather not go through all that stuff. In fact, I'd rather have a guy run out of my house in fear and spread the word that there's some crazy gringo in Costa Rica with a gun. Don't rob that house. It's all about hard target, soft target. So it's make yourself the hard target. Go rob somebody else. Anyway, I didn't say that. Okay, I said that, but you know what I mean. After all that, I'll end with this. I absolutely love this country. I chose to make it my home. However, I felt that this video was necessary to dispel a lot of myths that are going around about gun ownership here. I also have a respect for the right to personal defense and human rights overall, and I hope that no one watching this ever has to use a firearm in self-defense. But keep in mind that the Costa Rican government supports a resident or citizen's right to be ready if the need arises. If you're a responsible and capable person interested in starting the process, I hope this was of some help. Comment with questions or criticisms below and I'll get back to you soon.